Have you ever found yourself in, an important work meeting here in the US and felt
Yeah.
that subtle disconnect? Like your words weren't quite landing with the impact you wanted?
Hmm.
Or maybe you questioned if you sounded confident enough, or I don't know, perhaps a little too casual for the setting?
Yeah, that happens a lot.
It's incredibly common, right? And that feeling, that professional uncertainty, it can be genuinely unsettling when you know so much depends on how well you communicate.
Absolutely. It can really throw you off your game.
So today we're going to try and demystify this whole thing. Welcome to the deep dive.
Glad to be diving in.
We're immersing ourselves in, well, a whole stack of insights on professional communication, specifically in the U.S. workplace.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
Our mission for this deep dive is basically to pull out the most crucial nuggets of knowledge, the real insights, so you can approach any work conversation with, hopefully, genuine clarity and confidence.
And it's not just about memorizing rules, right?
Yeah. Exactly. It's not rote learning. It's about understanding the style, the sort of subtleties of communication that genuinely make you sound capable, credible, and, ready to succeed.
The underlying approach.
One thing that often catches people, especially if they're new to the American professional scene, is this common misconception.
Uh,
Many people, and you see this a lot with folks learning English, they think that sounding professional means you have to use these big, complicated words or build these really elaborate sentences.
right, the $5 words.
Yeah. But here's where it gets really interesting and kind of counterintuitive. In American workplaces, it's often the exact opposite.
It really is. Simplicity, clarity, precision.
Yeah.
Those are valued way more than complexity. It just sounds, complex.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit.
Well, one striking thing you see in the research is just how fast the perception of professionalism changes based on what seems like a tiny word choice.
Okay.
So let's take a classic contrast the sources mentioned. Imagine someone saying, I am endeavoring to ascertain the viability of this project.
Oof.
Yeah,
Sounds formal. A bit much.
a bit much. Exactly. It sounds artificial,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even cumbersome. It actually makes the listener work harder,
Yeah.
creates friction.
Right.
Now, compare that to, I'm looking into whether this project will work.
Instantly clearer. Direct.
Totally. It's clear, it's direct, and here's the key. It sounds professional without all that unnecessary fuss. It gives you immediate, effortless understanding.
Which is huge in a fast-paced environment.
It's a premium,
Okay.
absolutely. So we'll explore why that directness is so crucial and, importantly, what makes it land effectively, not just as talking, but as projecting competence.
And that's exactly what this deep dive is about, right? Illuminating how effective professional communication is really about striking that delicate balance between being respectful and being authentically natural.
It's a balancing act,
It really is. It involves mastering several connected things. There's your tone.
which is huge.
Huge. It's not just the words, but how you say them, the inflection, the feeling behind it, how people perceive it.
Yeah, the delivery.
Yeah. Then there's your register. That's your word choice, basically. Formal or informal. And often, like we just said, it's simpler and more pragmatic than people might think.
Less is often more.
And finally, phrasing. Those specific expressions, maybe idioms, that just sound natural and right to native speakers, these can sometimes trip people up if they're not quite used in context.
Oh, definitely. Getting those right makes a big difference.
So we'll be digging into the core principles behind this style. Things like politeness without weakness, that's a big one.
Crucial distinction.
The absolute importance of clarity over complexity, and some key cultural awareness, especially around, directness.
How direct is too direct or not direct enough?
Exactly. So by the end, the idea is you won't just have a list of words. You'll grasp the crucial communication style that lets you build trust, show you're capable, and really thrive in those professional interactions.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, let's dive into what might be, honestly, one of the biggest eye-openers for a lot of people listening. The power of clarity over complexity.
The simplicity advantage.
Yeah, the simplicity advantage. What our sources keep hammering home is that in the U.S. workplace, efficiency isn't just like a nice goal, it's baked into the communication style itself.
It really is.
Professionals value directness, precision,
Yeah.
not unnecessary jargon or these long, winding sentences.
They just don't impress, they confuse, they make people tune out.
And maybe worst of all, they can signal you're not confident or haven't thought it through clearly.
Exactly. It can backfire completely.
So the simplicity advantage is real.
And if you step back and think about the why behind it, the broader implication of simplicity is, well, it's incredibly powerful. It goes beyond just saving a few seconds.
How so?
Well, being concise in the U.S. workplace acts as this strong nonverbal cue.
Yeah.
It signals that you haven't just, learned the information, but you actually have the mental clarity, the executive function, to boil it down to its absolute essence.
Ah, okay. So it's not just about being quick, it's about showing you understand it deeply.
Precisely. It projects leadership potential, intellectual confidence. When you can state your point succinctly, it shows you genuinely get it well enough to present it without all the extra fluff.
Right. It's a subtle but strong signal you're in command.
And, maybe just as importantly, it shows profound respect for other people's time. That's a huge currency in the fast-paced U.S. professional world.
Yeah.
Getting straight to the point is seen as efficient and effective.
Okay, to really feel the impact, let's go back to that first example. I am endeavoring to ascertain the viability of this project versus I'm looking into whether this project will work. The difference in just the feel,
It's huge, isn't it?
night and day. One makes my brain work overtime just to translate it. The other one is just immediate understanding.
It's like walking through dense fog versus a clear path. You're reducing the mental effort for your audience
Which they appreciate.
immensely. Or think about another example our sources bring up when you hear a lot in team discussions. It might be a good idea if we perhaps consider arranging a meeting for Thursday.
So much hedging. Might perhaps consider.
Right. All those qualifiers. Now contrast that with the stronger, much more professional. Let's schedule a meeting for Thursday.
Boom. Clear. Action-oriented.
It's not just about saving words. It massively impacts how decisive you sound. The second person sounds like a leader, someone who takes initiative, gets things done,
Project's purpose, control.
while the first speaker sounds hesitant, maybe even unsure of their own idea. In a professional setting, that decisiveness translates directly to confidence, reliability, ability to drive action. It's perceived competence.
It really is about making your point without the unnecessary frills. Shows respect for everyone's time, including your own.
Absolutely.
So here's a practical tip for you listening. Next time you're in a meeting or reading work emails or just chatting with colleagues, actively listen for this. Try to spot the difference between natural, confident directness and that forced complexity, where someone's maybe trying too hard to sound smart.
You'll start noticing it everywhere.
You really will. And you'll see which style actually commands more attention and respect in your own workplace. The most effective communicators, often the clearest ones.
Almost always.
Okay, now this next principle. This one's crucial. And honestly, for many people, it can be a significant cultural hurdle to figure out politeness without weakness.
Ah, yes, the balancing act again.
It really is. The core insight here is that professionalism in the U.S. workplace means being respectful, considerate, absolutely, but, and this is the key part, not submissive.
Right.
You can be perfectly polite and still assert your position, lead a discussion, push for a decision. It's about commanding respect, not signaling submission.
And that's a critical distinction, especially, as you said, for people coming from cultures with maybe more rigid hierarchies in communication.
Yeah.
There's this common but often wrong assumption that politeness automatically equals deference, or that showing respect means you have to kind of, take a back seat.
Right, that you can't challenge things politely.
But American workplace culture, really values respectful assertiveness. It's not just about using polite words like please and thank you. It reflects this unique blend in the U.S. of sort of individualism, but also collaborative drive.
Interesting. How so?
Well, unlike some cultures where deference is maybe built into the language or specific behaviors, here, politeness often acts more like a social lubricant among people who are seen more or less as equals.
Okay.
It lets you have robust debate without it getting personal. It allows ideas to be challenged and refined based on their merit, not just on who said it or their title.
So it's respecting the process of discussion.
Exactly. And respecting the individual's right to contribute, even if they're challenging something.
Our sources have some really good examples that nail this balance, like the phrase, could you clarify that point?
Hmm?
Seems simple.
Seems simple, but it's not submissive at all, is it? It shows you're listening actively, you want to understand fully, you're committed to getting it right.
Right. It implies engagement, not lack of understanding due to inability. Exactly. Or think about, let's revisit this idea later.
Ooh, that's a powerful one.
It really is. It shows strategic thinking, good time management, often a subtle kind of leadership. You're not just shutting it down.
No, you're managing the conversation, guiding the agenda, keeping things focused, but still politely and collaboratively.
What's really vital here, I think, is how mastering these kinds of phrases lets you subtly but effectively guide things. Guide conversations, assert your needs, manage expectations, all while staying respectful.
Absolutely. You're showing you're a proactive contributor, someone who thinks critically, participates meaningfully. You're not just passively listening or deferring.
Right. It builds your credibility, shows you can handle complex discussions, keep your cool, assert yourself when needed.
It's about being dynamic in the workflow, not just watching it happen.
Right. Now, for a concept that, wow, it often causes a lot of anxiety for people, especially if they're new to U.S. professional norms, the cultural nuance around directness and disagreement.
Yeah, this is a big one.
The key insight is that Americans often value directness more than some other cultures. But, and this is the huge but, it has to be paired with solid reasoning and unwavering respect.
The how matters enormously.
Enormously. That common fear of just saying, I disagree, you can feel it sometimes. In many cultures, that can sound rude, confrontational, maybe even insubordinate.
Definitely.
But in the U.S. business world, it's actually often okay if you do it right. In fact, it can be seen as a sign you're engaged, thinking critically.
So this raises the important question, right? How do you navigate those cultural expectations, especially when you need to disagree without causing offense or sounding like a bulldozer?
Exactly. And the key, according to our sources, the magic ingredient really is the because.
The because. Explain that.
When you phrase your disagreement like, I disagree because I think this other method might actually cost us more in the long run, you've done something powerful. You've instantly transformed what could feel like a confrontation into a constructive, logical point in the discussion.
Ah, okay. So you're not just saying no, you're providing a business reason.
Precisely. You're shifting the focus from, I don't like your idea, to an objective, solution-focused analysis. Here's the data, or here's the potential negative outcome.
That because really is the linchpin. It elevates it from a personal attack to a logical argument. It frames your disagreement as thoughtful problem solving, which, as we've said, is huge in American professional culture.
Signals your dissent is based on analysis, wanting the best outcome, not just, personal preference.
And the implications for how teams work and make decisions are pretty profound. This approach encourages robust debate. Ideas get challenged openly, they get refined, they get stronger because they're tested against reason, not just accepted because of hierarchy or trying to keep everyone happy.
Right. That kind of open, respectful challenge leads to better decisions, better strategies, often more innovation.
It really does. It shows you're willing to think critically and engage intellectually, which are highly valued. But, true nuance here goes beyond just slapping a because on it.
Okay, good point. What else?
It's also about how you deliver it. Is your tone curious, collaborative,
Mm.
or is it accusatory? Is the setting right? Maybe a private one-on-one is better than calling someone out in a big meeting.
Context matters.
Hugely. Just blurting out, I disagree because X in a large group might still feel confrontational, especially if it's the first time the issues come up or your tone is sharp.
So a more nuanced approach might be.
Maybe something like, I have a slightly different perspective on that, and I'd like to share my reasoning. Perhaps we could chat about this offline if we're tight on time, or I can briefly outline my concern now.
Okay, that gives options. Sounds less aggressive.
Exactly. It allows for a more controlled, respectful debate, showing you're aware of both the message and the messenger and the setting.
Okay, moving beyond those foundational ideas, let's get really practical. Let's look at everyday workplace stuff, starting with crafting confident introductions.
First impressions count.
They really do. And the big insight here is that they aren't just for your very first day. Every new meeting, every new project team you join, every new colleague you bump into, each one involves an introduction that kind of sets the tone for everything that follows, establishes your professional presence.
Right. You're constantly making first impressions in new contexts.
Our sources kick off with a scenario that I think is super relatable. You walk into an office, someone says casually, "Hey, what's up?"
Common greeting.
Yeah. But if you're not totally dialed into American workplace chat, your first instinct might be to, like, literally answer the question. Describe what you're doing, how your morning was.
Yeah, I've seen that happen.
I remember early in my career, someone asked, "How's it going?" And I launched into this slightly stressed out, detailed story about my commute.
Oh, no.
And I could just feel the awkwardness descend, total misunderstanding of a casual greeting ritual.
Right. It's not usually a request for a status update.
Exactly. The professional, natural response, as the sources point out, is way simpler. Just, "Not much. How's it going with you?" Or even better, if it's a new professional context, "Hi, good to meet you. I'm Alex. I'll be working with the finance team."
Polite, open, signals you're ready to engage professionally. Doesn't give your life story.
Right. It's not a report on your day.
No. And the beauty of these good professional self-introductions is how efficient and clear they are. They usually have three core parts, like a quick professional snapshot.
Okay, what are they?
First, obviously, your name, spoken clearly.
Yeah.
If your name is maybe tricky for people, you might even subtly offer a phonetic clue or spell it out, especially in writing.
Good tip. Second.
Second, your role or department. Simple, direct. I'm working in marketing, or I'm part of the design team. Just gives immediate context.
Okay. Name, role.
Third, a connection point. A quick reason why you're there, or how your work links to theirs, like I'll be supporting the sales team with client reports, or I'm joining this meeting to talk about the project rollout.
Okay. So it grounds the introduction, explains your relevance.
Exactly. Makes it easy for the other person to place you and understand why you're interacting.
And these phrases work so well because they're direct, they're polite, and they immediately signal you're open to teamwork, collaboration.
It's that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Not too personal, which can be awkward, but not too cold or distant either.
Gets right to the point. Who you are, why you're there professionally, smooths the way for a productive chat.
And what's fascinating is looking at the common mistakes people make. Our sources point these out clearly.
Like what?
Well, on one end, you have too formal. Think, it is a distinct honor to make your acquaintance.
Cuckles. Yeah, sounds like you stepped out of a Jane Austen novel. A bit much for the office.
Definitely out of place.
Yeah.
Maybe even creates a weird barrier. Then the other extreme, too casual. Like, yo, I'm Sam. What's going on?
Oof. Yeah, that could instantly undermine your professional image. Suggests you're not taking it seriously.
Exactly. The professional middle ground, like the sources show, is something like, hi, I'm Sam. I work with the project management team. Glad to meet you.
Approachable, but professional. Sets a good tone.
It's the right note.
Yeah.
Creates a positive, incredible first impression.
And we should probably also touch on how greetings themselves have shifted a bit, right? Especially after the pandemic.
Good point. The handshake isn't the automatic go-to it once was.
Right. Now you might see a friendly wave, a simple smile, maybe just a confident nod.
And really, the most important thing isn't the exact gesture. It's the confidence in your voice, the eye contact, your genuine willingness to connect. That's what resonates.
That positive energy.
Yeah. And critically remember, introductions aren't just for day one. Every time you join a new meeting, especially online where faces and names might blur.
Oh, definitely. So important in virtual meetings.
A quick professional self-intro builds crucial credibility. Just, good morning, everyone. This is Maria from HR. I'll be covering the employee benefits updates today.
Simple, clear, effective.
It's a small thing, but it powerfully sets your presence, your purpose, your relevance, sets you up for success right from the start, shows you're organized, prepared, ready to contribute, highly valued.
All right, let's shift gears now to the place where, let's be honest, professional communication skills get put under the microscope the most.
Meetings.
The proving ground. Totally. The core idea here is that doing well in meetings is about projecting confidence, showing you really respect everyone's time, and making your contributions crystal clear.
It's where your skill can really shine. Or not.
Or not, exactly.
Yeah.
Where a lack of them can leave you feeling kind of lost or ignored.
So the first principle, and the sources are really emphatic about this, is be concise.
Back to clarity and efficiency.
Absolutely. It's not just a suggestion. It's a fundamental expectation of the U.S. workplace. People value efficiency hugely.
If you ramble on.
You lose them fast. You lose them fast. Attention spans are short. Schedules are jammed. Long, meandering explanations aren't seen as thorough. They're seen as inefficient, maybe unprepared, or like you don't even fully grasp your own point.
Okay, let's really unpack this because it's so vital. The sources give this great contrast example. Imagine someone starting off with, well, I have a few different ideas that I've sort of been thinking about for quite a while now, and maybe, possibly, we could perhaps try one of them if it's not too much trouble, just throwing it out there.
Sighs slightly. Exhausting just hearing it. So much hedging, so much uncertainty.
Right. Now compare that to, I have two specific ideas we could try to significantly improve our process.
Damn. The efficiency gain is instant. You can feel it.
Totally. The second one is crisp. It's actionable. It respects time. It implies you've thought it through, refined it, and you can present it clearly and confidently.
Exactly. It communicates organization, preparation, a sharp grasp of the issue. And this applies everywhere. Emails, summaries, elevator pitches, boiling it down is key.
Okay, so conciseness is number one. What's next?
Principle 2 is active participation. And this is important. Even if you're not leading the meeting, you show professionalism by asking clarifying questions, confirming you understand.
So it's not just about talking to talk.
Definitely not. It's about showing you're genuinely thinking critically, deeply engaged.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating here is how these questions show that engagement, even if you're not proposing something totally new.
Give me some examples.
Phrases like, just to clarify, are we focused on next quarter's budget right now? Or the current one? Or, okay, so if I understand correctly, the main priority we're discussing is improving customer satisfaction. Is that right?
Okay. Shows you're tracking, making sure everyone's on the same page.
Exactly. You're not just listening, you're actively processing. Another great one for collaboration is, that's a really insightful point Jane made. One way we could potentially support that idea is by.
Nice. Builds on others' ideas, fosters teamwork.
Creates that additive environment rather than people just waiting for their turn to jump in.
Okay. Principle 3 takes us back to something we touched on, but now specifically in that meeting, pressure cooker. Disagreeing politely.
Right. We know the because is important, but in a meeting, how you dissent gets amplified. Everyone's watching.
Your goal is to offer professional alternatives, not just drop a blunt, "You're wrong."
Please don't say you're wrong. It's ineffective, often damaging. Instead, try something like, I see it a bit differently. My main concern is that this particular method might inadvertently increase our costs down the line.
Focuses on the potential negative outcome.
Exactly. Or, that's an interesting idea, and I appreciate the thinking behind it, but I wonder if we should also carefully consider another option that might better address the scalability challenge.
Opens the door for debate without making it personal.
Keeps the focus squarely on the idea, the data, the outcome, not the person. Essential for a productive, respectful meeting. Allows for that rigorous back and forth that leads to better results.
Okay, and the final principle for meetings.
Principle 4. Ending your points with confidence. This is all about the lasting impression you leave.
Right. You definitely want to avoid those weak, trailing off conclusions that just kill your whole point.
Yeah. The sources highlight that common mistake of ending with, yeah. So that's kind of what I think, I guess, or, if that makes any sense.
Undermines everything.
Totally.
Yeah.
It leaves this feeling of uncertainty, maybe lack of conviction, even if the idea itself was solid. Instead, close strong. Be decisive.
Like.
So, based on these points, my recommendation is we test this solution on a small scale before considering a full rollout next quarter.
Clear, confident includes a next step.
Reinforces your confidence, solidifies your contribution's value, often includes that call to action, leaves no doubt about your position or recommendation, frames you as someone who not only has ideas, but can drive them forward.
And we absolutely have to mention virtual meeting etiquette these days, right? It's non-negotiable.
Oh, huge. Those seemingly small details make an enormous difference in perception.
Like muting yourself when not speaking. Please.
Essential. Clear audio, simple greetings like, "Good morning, everyone, glad to be here," or "Thanks for setting up this call." Those are foundational.
And beyond that.
Think about your camera presence.
Yeah.
Good eye contact. Look at the camera, not just the screen. Clean background. Engaging with listening cues, even when muted, like nodding or smiling.
Shows you're present and engaged.
It all communicates organization, professionalism, respect for everyone else's experience. Shows you're considerate, competent, and fully there, even if you're not talking at that moment.
All right, let's wade into potentially sensitive territory now, but it's critically important. Giving and receiving feedback professionally.
Often tricky, but so necessary.
Absolutely. The core idea to grasp is that feedback in the U.S. workplace is generally seen as a vital tool for growth, for improvement. It's not just criticism or judgment.
Right. The intent is usually developmental.
Because of that, the way feedback is delivered and the way it's received are both absolutely key to making it effective.
And this is definitely an area where cultural nuances really pop up and can be misunderstood.
How so?
Well, in some cultures, direct feedback, especially if it's critical, might feel like an insult, a personal attack, a challenge to your competence.
Yeah, I can see that.
But in the U.S. professional context, it's almost universally framed as an opportunity to develop for the individual, the project, the team. The goal is usually to build trust and foster continuous improvement.
Okay, which is why the method of delivery is so critical.
Exactly. It's about creating a culture where learning and adapting are just part of the normal process.
So when it comes to giving feedback, our sources point out some common mistakes. Being way too blunt and accusatory.
Like, "This report is bad. It's sloppy. Not helpful."
Not helpful at all. Or the opposite, being too vague and wishy-washy. It's fine, I guess. Could be better, maybe.
Also not helpful. Doesn't tell you what to fix.
Right. Neither gives the clarity needed. So the professional approach, what the sources call the constructive feedback method, is a really effective, structured way to do it.
Yes, it's a great framework, very powerful, because it's designed to be specific, actionable, and ultimately empowering. It guides improvement without attacking the person.
Okay, break it down for us.
Sure. First, you start with a genuine positive. Something specific they did well. You did a great job organizing all that raw data, capturing everything was key for this report.
Acknowledges effort, sets a positive tone.
Okay. Then you add a specific actionable suggestion. One way to make it even stronger, especially for the exec team review, is maybe to simplify the charts. Perhaps focus visually on just the three most critical data points.
Precise gives a clear path forward. Got it.
And finally, you end with encouragement, reinforcing the positive outcome of making that change. That way, your key insights will really pop and stand out more clearly, making the whole report even more persuasive.
Connects the suggestion to a benefit.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this whole method doesn't just deliver a message. It actively builds trust, encourages open dialogue, and fosters that culture of continuous improvement we talked about.
Turns a potentially tough moment into a collaborative growth opportunity.
Precisely. Strengthens both the person and the team.
Okay, now let's flip the coin. Receiving feedback. This can honestly be even harder for people sometimes.
It really can trigger defensive reaction.
Yeah. So the core idea is showing maturity, openness, a real willingness to learn when someone gives you feedback. Avoid those common mistakes. Instant defensiveness.
No, I don't think so. I did exactly what you asked.
Right. Or just complete silence, which can signal anything from resentment to indifference.
Neither is productive. Professional responses, the source's stress, consistently show you're willing to learn and adapt.
Such as?
Things like, thanks for pointing that out. I hadn't considered that angle. I'll definitely adjust it. Or, I really appreciate the feedback. Could you maybe give me a specific example so I can understand better what you mean?
Asking for clarification. Nice.
Or even just, that's really helpful. I'll make sure to work on that for the next version. These show openness, accountability, a growth mindset, not defensiveness.
And that matters because
Because it communicates high emotional intelligence and a commitment to getting better, which are super valued qualities in U.S. workplaces, shows you're truly listening, processing, ready to adapt.
And that term constructive criticism, it's meant to signal helpful intent,
Yep.
right? Like, don't panic when you hear it.
Exactly. It implies an opportunity to refine and improve, not just an attack on what you did before. It's about moving forward.
And crucially, your body language speaks volumes when you're receiving feedback.
Oh, absolutely. Just as much as your words.
So avoid the eye rolling, the heavy sighs, the tightly crossed arms.
All signals defensiveness or dismissiveness.
Instead, try to keep your body language open. Nod to show you're processing, maintain eye contact, maybe even take notes.
Shows you value the feedback, you're taking it seriously even if it's tough to hear. Reinforces your professionalism and commitment to growth.
And quick point, feedback isn't just manager to employee, right? Peer feedback is common.
Very common. And you want to use supportive, collaborative language there too to keep relationships positive.
Like what?
Maybe, hey, one thing I noticed that might enhance this section is, or have you considered trying X? I wonder if it might help with the Y challenge we discussed. Or
Yeah.
what I really liked here was specific positive, and one thought I had to potentially improve. It could be specific suggestion.
Sounds supportive, not just critical. Helps build that culture of mutual improvement.
Exactly.
Okay, let's bravely tackle what can feel like the Mount Everest of workplace communication sometimes. Handling difficult conversations.
Deep breaths, everyone.
Right. The core idea is that these moments, maybe more than any others, really define your professionalism, your emotional intelligence. It's not about dodging conflict.
No, avoidance usually makes things worse.
It's about confidently managing it, effectively, productively, and always with respect.
This is truly where that high EQ, emotional intelligence, really shows up and makes a difference. And the first principle the sources hammer home is, stay calm and objective.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Oh, for sure. But it means consciously trying to separate your immediate feelings from the actual issue at hand. Focus on the behavior or the problem, not the person. That distinction is critical.
Okay, give me a practical example of that shift.
Sure, instead of blurting out, You're always late for our team stand-ups, and frankly, it's driving me crazy. We can't ever start on time because of you.
Whoa. Yeah, instant defense shields up. Personal attack.
Totally. The professional approach changes the whole dynamic. You'd say something like, hey, I've noticed you've been late to our team meetings pretty consistently this week, and unfortunately, it's creating a delay in our daily progress. Can we maybe chat about finding a solution so we can start promptly together?
Wow. Okay, the difference is huge. From accusation to neutral observation, statement of impact, and then, crucially, an invitation to solve it together.
Exactly. It disarms the defensiveness and invites collaboration instead of conflict.
Now, there's a specific phrase or style our sources mention for navigating these things, the acknowledge and respond style.
Yes, that's a really powerful technique. It means starting by showing empathy, acknowledging the other person's point of view before you introduce your own.
How does that sound in practice?
Typically something like, okay, I understand your point about needing more resources for X, and I can definitely appreciate why you feel that way, but here's my specific concern regarding the budget impact for Y.
The I understand, but structure.
Exactly. And what's fascinating here is that it immediately signals respect for their view. You're validating their feelings or logic first. That balance of respect and honesty is super valued because it promotes constructive dialogue, not an argument.
De escalates tension by showing you actually heard them, makes them more open to hearing you.
Precisely. Okay, next vital skill, negotiating disagreement and setting boundaries professionally. This comes up all the time. Like,
Yeah.
you get assigned way too much work.
Yeah. The instinct might be just say, no way, I can't do that. It's just not great.
Not great, unhelpful, potentially damaging. Instead, the sources suggest a powerful, solution-focused response. It shows willingness and strategic thinking.
Okay, what does that sound like?
Something like, thanks, I'd be happy to take this project on, as it definitely aligns with our team goals. However, to maintain the quality on my current commitments, I'll need to adjust the deadline for Project Z. Given the current priorities, which one should take precedence right now?
Ooh, that's good. It's empowering. Shows you're willing, you're thinking about quality, but you're also setting realistic limits and asking them to prioritize.
Exactly. It reframes it. It's not about your inability. It's a strategic resource allocation issue, which is a key professional skill. Shows you manage your time thoughtfully.
Okay. And what about apologizing when you do mess up?
Ah, yes, the professional apology. Key points. Keep it concise, direct, and always follow up with a clear statement of action or resolution.
Like the example they gave.
Yeah, perfect example.
Yeah.
I sincerely apologize for missing the deadline on the quarterly report. I've already reorganized my schedule and put new reminders in place to ensure I'll deliver all subsequent reports on time moving forward.
Acknowledgement, fix, future prevention. Clear.
What you absolutely must avoid is over-apologizing.
The I'm so sorry, I'm terrible, please forgive me routine.
Exactly. Too much emotion, as the sources rightly point out, actually weakens your professional image. It can make you seem less capable, overly emotional, maybe even like you're shirking accountability. What's needed is a clear acknowledgement and a confident path forward. Drains credibility otherwise.
Got it. And then there's handling criticism, especially if it feels harsh or unfair.
Yeah, tough one. Your main goal there is just to diffuse the tension and show unwavering maturity. A really effective response is, okay, I hear what you're saying and I understand your concerns. Let me take some time to reflect on that feedback and think about how I can effectively improve in that area.
Buys you time, shows you're listening, avoids an immediate defensive reaction. Smart.
Keeps your composure intact. Finally, in really tense, maybe emotionally charged situations, the pros use neutral phrases strategically. They steer the conversation back to constructive ground.
Such a
Things like, okay, let's try to focus on finding a mutually beneficial solution here. Or, look, I believe we both ultimately want the same positive outcome, So how can we work together to get there? And maybe can we schedule a quick follow-up discussion next week just to ensure this issue is fully resolved and we're both aligned?
Why are those so effective?
Because they skillfully shift the focus away from blame, personal conflict, or getting sucked into emotions, and towards collaboration and objective problem solving. That's always the goal in a professional setting. Shows great emotional intelligence, a commitment to fixing things, and an ability to lead even when things get tough.
Wow. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground here. A really comprehensive deep dive into the nuts and bolts of professional communication in the U.S. workplace.
From introductions to really tough stuff.
Exactly. We've hit first impressions, meetings, feedback, difficult conversations. What should be crystal clear by now is that being professional in how you communicate isn't just about, memorizing a list of separate rules.
No, it's much more integrated than that.
It's about weaving all these principles together into a consistent, authentic style. A style that naturally builds trust, commands respect, and just makes collaboration easier and more effective.
Think of it this way. Every single time you speak at work, or write an email, or even just react in a meeting, you're actively shaping your professional reputation.
That's a powerful thought.
It is. Are you consistently coming across as clear, concise, respectful, confident, or are your words accidentally causing confusion or tension or creating distance? Mastering this stuff is the tool that lets you consciously control that impression. Make sure you're always putting your most capable, trustworthy self forward.
Okay, so let's do a super quick recap of those key principles we dug into. First, clarity over complexity.
Keep it simple, keep it direct, short sentences. No need to try and sound smart with fancy words. Efficiency and clarity win.
Distilling ideas simply shows mastery. Second, politeness with confidence.
Respectful doesn't mean weak or deferential. Use confident, solution-focused language like, I suggest we, or let's consider X.
Third, cultural awareness, especially around directness.
Americans often appreciate directness, but it needs reasoning and respect. I disagree is okay, even good, if you back it up logically and constructively.
And finally, cultivate a constructive mindset.
Whether giving feedback, getting it, or handling conflict, always focus on improvement, on solutions for the future, never on blame or dwelling on the past. Phrases like, one way to make this even better, signal that professionalism.
Now, one really unique thing about the U.S. workplace, which the sources highlight, is that interesting balance between formality and approachability.
Yeah, it can surprise people. It's not always rigidly formal, like in some cultures.
Right. American professional speech often mixes that respect with a good degree of friendliness, directness. You might hear a senior manager say, "Fantastic job, team. Let's grab coffee later," right after a super serious budget meeting.
It happens all the time. So the key is adaptability. Knowing that professional doesn't have to mean stiff or unapproachable. It means being appropriate for the specific situation, the context, the relationship you have with that person.
Being authentic, but always professional. Knowing when to lean more formal, when to be more personable.
Exactly. Reading the room, basically.
So, what does all this ultimately mean for you, the listener? Here's maybe the most important takeaway, and it's actually quite liberating. Professional English isn't about achieving flawless perfection. It's really about effective connection and clear communication.
That's such a crucial point.
It really is. Even if your grammar isn't 100% perfect or your accent isn't exactly how you wish it sounded, you can still come across as incredibly professional and command respect just by consistently being clear, being polite, and being confident.
Focus on getting the core idea across.
Right. Like, don't tie yourself in knots worrying about I have spoken versus I spoke. Just focus on delivering the main message directly and with conviction. I sent the report yesterday. Your clarity, your confidence, your ability to just get the message across effectively, that will always trump minor grammatical slips when it comes to building professional trust and connection.
Absolutely. And as you work on refining this, a really valuable practical step is just to actively observe. Watch the language, the communication style of colleagues and leaders around you who you think are effective.
Pay attention to what works.
Yeah. Make mental notes or even jot down phrases or approaches that sound professional, natural, and effective to you. Then, and this is key, start trying them out yourself,
Mhm.
maybe in lower stakes situations first.
Practice makes, well, not perfect, but better.
Exactly. Over time, these phrases, these patterns, they'll start to feel natural. They'll become part of your own authentic communication style. It's a gradual process, not an overnight switch.
You really do now have a comprehensive toolkit, a deeper understanding that can genuinely transform how you speak, interact, and present yourself at work. Every meeting, every introduction, every feedback chat, every single conversation is a chance to practice.
An opportunity to grow.
Start small, experiment with these ideas, and you'll soon notice it. Not just a surge of confidence in yourself, but also, likely, more respect and recognition from the people around you. It's an empowering journey, and you are definitely equipped now to truly thrive. Hashtag tech tech outro. So, we have taken an incredibly thorough deep dive today into the practical side of professional communication in the U.S. workplace. We've covered the whole spectrum, really, from those initial introductions and making your mark in meetings, all the way to skillfully handling sensitive stuff like feedback and tough conversations.
A lot of ground covered.
Yeah, and I think it's clear that ultimately professionalism isn't just about the specific words you pick. It's much bigger than that. It's about building strong working relationships, fostering trust, and consistently showing up as the most capable, authentic version of yourself.
Yale said. And maybe as a final provocative thought for everyone listening to take away and mull over,
Mhm.
think about your own workplace interactions coming up. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. What one specific phrase or approach or subtle communication tweak from our deep dive today will you intentionally try first? Whether it's in a meeting, giving feedback, receiving it, or just introducing yourself to someone new.
Just pick one thing to start with.
Exactly. And then ask yourself,
Mm.
why do you think that specific adjustment will make the biggest, most positive difference for you and how you interact professionally?
Hmm. That's a great reflective question. Take this knowledge, all these insights, and actively put them into practice. You really do have the essential tools now to transform the way you communicate at work and truly thrive in the American professional environment. We sincerely hope this deep dive has been insightful and, more importantly, genuinely empowering for your journey.